Hi, everybody. David Fogel, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back with you for another Symphonina Foundation podcast. And today I have got male vocalist Travis Hall from Atlanta. Travis, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. One of the beautiful things about the Grammy process, whether you get nominated or you don't, is you get to meet hundreds of great people. And you're one of the great people that I met this season. You had a lot of entry, you had different categories that you're in with two different entries on the R&B vocal side. But as I got to learn more about you, you're an operatic vocalist in the Atlanta area. And I was like, wow, let's go talk. So we had a little talk. And I said, you make a great podcast guest, so let's do it. So Travis, how'd you get into opera?
I got into opera by going to college because
Okay.
usually it's Western European music. It's either or jazz. It's usually either classical or jazz. And so I ended up in college, and they said I had a knack for it. I had never read music. I didn't even know what a key was when I went to college. I was like, "Who said it's these 12 notes? How do I?" So
Interesting. Okay. Okay. So most people I interview and myself also, we get started in music very young. Were you into music young and you just played by ear maybe, or how'd it go?
yes. So I grew up in an unmusical family,
Hmm.
and I was very shy as a child, very shy, an only child. And so I sang to the radio.
You would never know that, Travis.
No one believes me. I'm very shy. Even now, people don't believe me. It doesn't matter. I guess I should
Okay.
get.
All right.
But I would sing along to the radio a lot. My mother had me later than other mothers in my class. And so she played a lot of 60s, 70s, 80s songs, which were her favorites because she was born in 64. And so I grew up singing back to the songs she played on the radio and Disney movies and mimicking Disney movies.
Okay. All right. But when you went to college, you didn't have a declared major then. I'm guessing you found music while you were there to do it as a career.
I was the first person to go to college in my family, and I started at a 2-year school. And I don't know, I think I just went straight in for music. But luckily, this school was a baby school, so they gave us free lessons our first semester,
Okay.
and we were able to audition at the end of the semester. So I got lucky.
Nice. And then I'm guessing you must have had some good vocal teachers along the way. Because
Yes.
it can't come easy when you start late. It's harder when you start
Oh,
later. It's not
it's hard.
impossible. It's always good, but you have to have great teachers, I think, to be successful at your level.
Yeah, you do. I've had a lot of bad teachers, like I'm sure we all have.
Okay.
But I always tell people I've had a lot of good teachers
Do
as
you want to
well.
mention any of them? No, no, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
No, they'll
No,
kill me.
no, don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Um, Specifically, my favorite teacher that I've had, I guess that's biased of me to say, but is Earl Coleman. He's now retired, Professor Earl Coleman.
Okay. And where was he?
He was at Columbus State
He
University
was at
in
Columbus State. Okay.
yeah, he was the head of the voice department there. He was in his 70s, and he was a violinist, pianist, and vocalist. He studied
Hmm.
at Juilliard. I think he was a dean at University of Michigan at one point in time, but
Wow. Okay.
he whipped me into shape.
Okay. I guess as a vocalist, you have many opportunities and you enjoy doing R&B as well as opera. We'll talk about a new album you've got coming out momentarily, actually, in just a second here. But when you're going through the bachelor's in vocal performance, do you get a choice of going on the classical vocal side or on the jazz R&B side, or is it really all encompassing? How does that work? I'm totally unfamiliar.
So they're very strict. So you do classical, and most of your professors tell you don't do jazz, don't do pop. That's going to ruin your voice. And so
Ah,
that's how it 90% of the time is. Most places don't even have jazz vocal programs.
okay.
So I was literally tunnel vision on classical music for 10 years straight.
Okay, so mostly if we see anybody who's got a master's in vocal performance or something like that, we can expect that was a classical program,
Classical,
and it would
yes.
be the unusual case that it was something else.
Yes.
Okay, but you always loved jazz and R&B, so you never gave it up, and you keep creating it too. So I don't want you to pick between which one you like more. Them I'm guessing you like them both, and you like them for different reasons.
Yeah, I like them both for different reasons. I love opera because it's a very primal thing. There are no microphones. So I love the
Right.
athleticism of it. That's exciting to me. I practice every day. I love the just that, the virtuosity of it. In R&B and soul music, when I started writing it 3 years ago, I found that I love storytelling and creating my own music rather than always interpreting someone else's music. So,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I had in my notes here that you performed the Barber of Seville and Pirates of Penzance with the Atlanta Opera. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yes, I started my professional career in 2021, I think. I should actually remember this since it wasn't so long ago.
Yeah.
You would think it was
Right
like
during
30
COVID.
years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, when did I start it?
Yeah.
And I performed first in the chorus of Pirates of Penzance and Barber of Seville with Atlanta Opera, which was very exciting. That was during COVID, so it was
Yeah.
interesting to sing with masks on.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And then eventually I toured with them singing Barber last year on a 200-date tour, which was very exciting.
Okay. And where did you tour?
We toured all around Georgia. So it was mainly an educational outreach show. So
Oh,
all
okay.
elementary schools, high schools. We went to Augusta, Georgia, spent the night in a few places.
Was that part of the 96-hour opera project also, or is that a separate project?
Separate project. So the
Okay.
96-hour opera project is probably the hardest one.
I was gonna
I've
say.
done it. I've done it 2 years in a row, and what they do is it's really a competition for librettists and composers. So they come up with a theme every year, and
Mhm.
then they audition people, librettists and composers, and they come together and they have to write a 10-minute opera, basically.
Okay. Sounds like a Symphonina. I'm on board
But
so far.
listen,
There you go.
Symphonina, there we go.
Yep.
Listen,
Yep.
96-hour Symphonina, actually.
No, 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 I don't want that. Just 10 minutes. It's okay.
10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Hang
we
on.
get 96 hours to they freelance singers, and you come together and you workshop it with the librettist and composer, and then you
Mhm.
perform it
Okay.
in a
And
competition.
and that's just in Atlanta itself then, or
Yes, it's in
yeah,
Atlanta.
okay. All right. Well, we got a lot going on. That's great. You also had a sold out show recently too.
I did.
You did. Congratulations. Tell us about
Thank
it.
you. So I recently sold out my first headlining show and first ticketed show, which was an album release concert with a 16-piece band. And it was exciting. It was a lot of work. It was quite exciting. It was when I started this album, there were a few things that I wanted to do for me, and that was the studio album, a few music videos, I have two, and
Mhm.
then the live show, selling out a live show to leverage, going forward. So I hit all my check marks.
That's great. That's great. And is that for your album that's coming up?
It is. It's for my album that's coming
All right.
up.
So let's talk about that. It's called Heart Museum, if I have that correct. And it'll be released on Friday, which is like November 15th, I think.
Yes, 14th.
14th. Okay, 14th. November 14th. All right, tell us all about that and how you went about making it. It's an R&B album. And at the Symphonina Foundation, I want to point out we're not just all about symphony music. We do promote the joy of symphony music, and one of those joys is when artists cross over between symphonic genres and other genres, because it opens the door in both directions. People who are listening in R&B can go, "Oh, there's this operatic singer guy. I should go listen to him too." So we're more than happy to do that. Tell us about the album.
So this is my debut album. I started writing it I started songwriting in 2020 or 2021.
Mhm.
And it's a 8-song album. It's about love, love lost, and hope for love again.
Mm.
All written, produced, composed, and then partially arranged by me. It gives 60, 70 soul funk, jazz, R&B, jazz fusion, pop, a little pop. So that's kind of how I describe it. Kind of all over the place, a little bit of everything.
Are you doing another show to help release it?
I am not. I didn't think that far ahead. I am planning a tour next year.
Okay, tell us about that.
So I'm planning a tour next year. I don't know where it's going to be yet because I'm planning it.
Okay.
But I am planning a tour to go on tour a year from now. So trying to put those dates together in places
And aside from your tour, when you're touring for your own album,
Mhm.
are you freelancing for operatic vocals as well? How does that part of your professional career advance at the same time?
So I've kind of not auditioned for anything in classical music since I started working on this album because
I see.
writing it was so exhausting for me because it was so new. And I was in my master's program taking jazz courses to try to figure out. So I toured while I was writing it, but I haven't auditioned for anything since. In this season, I'm trying to get my aria package together for auditions for next year classically.
Yeah.
And Of course, it's the money season for Christmas, so I'm trying to pick up all of those
Of
classical Christmas gigs.
course, yes.
But yes, so hopefully next season I'll have a lot more classical things on the books.
Sounds
It's
great.
hard doing both for me, I feel like, because classical music is contractual. So if I lock in a contract, I don't want it to interfere with anything I get from my own, my own music. And so it scares me a little bit when I think forward.
I get that. Constraints are constraining. So
Constraints
that's
are constraining.
that's part. But they're also security. So it depends on
They are also security.
depends on what your priorities are at the time, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Have you performed outside of the United States?
I have never performed outside of the United States. I need to get my passport. People keep reminding me of that.
Okay. Once you get your passport, get right on that. Once you get your passport, then where would you like to go?
Well, I speak a little German. I would love to go to Germany. And most people from my popular music say that it would do really well overseas, people believe. So I would love to go to the UK. I would love to go to Germany, France. I would love to do a tour over there. I mean, classically and in terms of popular music.
Yeah. And I guess what does it take a manager to help you make those sort of connections? Or do you think you can take on getting those connections yourself?
I'm very ambitious and I feel like I can do it alone. But my goal for the next year is to build a team to help me because I think partially one of the major reasons why I'm so exhausted post the live album release show is because I was managing it all alone. Doing all of the promotion, relaying all to all the players of the band, scheduling all the rehearsals. Like when you're doing everything, you really can't. But when you have to, it's a lot. So.
When I see a bird chirping away in the backyard, just going on and on and on and on and on, I think eventually that bird must get tired. And then I think about you singing operatically in some hall in Atlanta or some of our other friends who've been on. And I'm thinking, boy, you must be tired too. So what physical training do you have to do to be able to project your voice, as you say, without a microphone doing operatic singing? And is it exhausting in and of itself, or is it more of the process that is maybe tiring?
I mean, I think it's both the process and the act is exhausting for me at least. The process that I enjoy of opera singing is the vocal athleticism and the vocalises, doing vocalises every day. That's the process of that is exciting to me.
Yeah.
The process of learning music is difficult, and then getting up and performing it is somewhat fun. But I go to the gym regularly. I run. You have to watch what you eat, of course, for some people. Some people are lucky and they don't have to really do anything.
Right.
But for us mere mortals, we have to be a little more methodical in the things that we do.
Yeah, I guess, and as a saxophone player, I could think maybe there's similarities, but I would imagine blowing into a saxophone is easier than projecting your voice to the back of the hall. So you have a horn that's helping you.
The horn
got to be easier. I mean, you're working against the horn a little bit, but there's a trade-off there probably. But I can only imagine that it must take a lot of training to be able to get to that spot where you can feel like you can do it without it being so laborious that it takes away from the performance.
Yeah, you do. You have to do a lot of training, but it's so thrilling and exciting, to hear and to do. That's what I miss because in R&B and in pop music, when I sing, there's a microphone, so I have to be more delicate, or it's a different technique. Whereas when I go out in opera, I can just release into the space. It's more cathartic in that way.
Yeah, I get that. For students who are coming up now, they're not that far behind you.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you would say to do or not do that are typical questions that would come before someone who's doing a vocal performance degree?
Practice, 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 practice. In my experience, I never saw a lot of vocalists practicing. So I would say practice, practice, practice.
Okay.
And discipline. I mean, I don't know. I feel like discipline is everything. That's what I learned from Professor Coleman. Practice, do the work, and be disciplined. And even if you do all of that, you still may not be successful, but that's the requirement.
Okay. So that's your MDR, the minimum daily requirement, right?
The minimum daily requirement.
Well, I can't know for sure, but I'm going to guess it's multiple hours per day is what you're suggesting for practice time.
Yeah, I mean, for singing, you can't really practice that. You can't practice that long because your voice will tire out. So I practice about
Okay.
30 minutes to an hour a day vocalizing.
Hmm.
But I've always been taught you can do other practice, like you can study your score mentally,
Yep.
language,
Yep.
the rhythms, learning your pitches, at a piano or whatever, however you do it. You can do that work. So there's always work to be done, sadly, and excitingly.
Excitingly. And for those who are doing vocal performance as opposed to some other instrument, would you recommend that they also get into composition and reading symphonic scores and things like that as well? Is that helpful to you?
Yes, I think that would be great. Earl Coleman was very big on asking us, when you get a vocal score, know what instruments are playing here, know the chords, know the textures, especially if you're doing operatic music, because you want to know the composer's intent, one, and you have to know what you're singing against. So I would definitely say that. And those skills can help you pivot. I think what I wish I was taught more in school is that nothing is useless because you never know when you have to pivot to something else.
That's true too, isn't it? Yes. So, okay. And then I guess another question is, did you ever pick up playing a musical instrument along the way? And what do you aspire to?
I played a little piano as I was made to do in school,
Okay.
but that's the one thing I have not put a lot of time into. It's hard. It's so hard.
It's called a pivot, Travis.
It's time to pivot. And I would love an R&B. I play enough piano that I made all the chords to my songs, but I would love to not have to pay a pianist to
Mhm.
come and accompany me all the time. It would be so nice if I could just show up and accompany myself. So I actually put in my notes this morning when I was at work to get back into lessons, piano lessons.
There we go. I'm glad we lucked into talking about that. Consider that the universe telling you it was a good idea.
Hmm.
All right. Travis, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
They may find me on social media at Travis Hall Music, and that's Hall. On YouTube, it's Travis Hall Music with a K because somebody took my name.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So there's a K on YouTube and there's a C everywhere else. Travis Hall.
All right. Travis Hall Music with a K on YouTube, C everywhere else. Travis, we're going to listen to some more of the preview of your album that's coming out on Friday, November 14th. We wish you all the best with it. And you never know. We might be able to write an operatic Symphonina here at some point in the future. You just never know what's going to happen. So if we need a male vocalist, I know where to go. Travis, we wish you all the best. If there's anything we can do at the Symphonina Foundation to help you, just let us know.
I will. I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me too.